Same Probanden, Prorana Probandenye. Hello, my friend. This is Nyanjiro, I'm Japanese accountant. Let me start today's video with one of my favorite words by Mr. Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever." I'm impressed with the word because I hope to train myself by learning in my life. Learning and studying are fantastic. So today, I want to share my experience about why I was able to study for 6,000 hours for 3 years. By watching this video today till the last, I hope you guys will be able to have useful tips for keeping a huge amount of time for studying. About 10 years ago, I started to study to be a certified public accountant in Japan. Until that point, I dreamed to be a professional musician. However, I realized that I don't have enough talent as a musician. So I decided to change my dream from being a musician to being an accountant. Then I studied for 6,000 hours while working for 3 years. This is simple calculation. 6 hours a day multiply about 360 days multiply 3 years equal over 6,000 hours. 6 hours for studying a day is just an average. I studied 20 or 13 hours a day on a weekend, on Saturday or Sunday, while I studied for just 4 hours or 6 hours on a weekday. And by the way, I took just less than 5 days a year for rest. Finally, I passed the exam to be an accountant, and I've been working for about 7 years as an accountant in Tokyo. I'm not so smart that I spent over 6,000 hours to pass the exam, but that's not the point here. The question is how I could do that. And if you smart guys will be able to spend a huge amount of time like this, what will happen? Don't you be excited? I assume that some of you watching this video want to learn something to get new skills or knowledge by studying. Some of you may want to get a promotion. Some of you may want to gain money by learning investment. However, the problem is keeping time for studying is not easy on a daily basis, isn't it? Because we are always busy, we don't have enough time. When you are tired of working, it's difficult to study hard, but I'm sure there are some tips to keep studying time. I hope you guys will be able to take advantage of the tips from my experience. Okay, let's get started. First of all, please put in your mind that time management is motivation management. Because motivation makes time. The higher motivation you have, the less time you need for studying. This is a fantastic truth I found throughout the 6,000 hours studying. So my tips I'm explaining focus on how to manage motivation. You are great, my friend. Don't blame yourself. Please be strict, but take care of yourself. You can do it. Sorry for my long introduction. Let's move on to talking about the tips for keeping time and motivation for studying. There are 3 points I did. First, note my mood. Second, decrease studying time and increase studying time. Third, maximize the productivity of relaxing time. I don't know the 3 points here make sense for you right now, but I'll explain each point carefully. First point is note my mood on a schedule. I mean that I noted my mood and feelings on my diary every day, like this. The top of the cell of each day means I'm fine, while, for example, this day, the bottom of the cell means it's the worst day. So by doing this, I could check the change of my condition. This is good, but down, go up, like this. But what does this make sense? By doing this, I could dramatically reduce my stress because I could check my motivation objectively. To see myself objectively was really important for me because I could be mentally stable and I could refrain from unnecessary stress. Have you experienced that you didn't think too much about the other person's problem while you did think too much about your own problem, even if the problem was the same between them? Everybody thinks too much about their own problem. So watching yourself as if it was the other person will contribute to reduce your stress. Let me repeat that time management is motivation management. But if you had enough time but you wouldn't have the motivation, your brain would not work well and waste your time. This is an equation I created. Motivation multiplied time equal value. If either of them were 0, you would get no value from the activity. Both motivation and time are essential. So I try to be mentally as stable as possible. Also, I think you can take advantage of this method to your family or your job. Because a leader should control his or her emotion in front of the other people. Know to your mood on a schedule and control your stress. This is the first point. Second tip. I decreased studying time when I'm not fine, and I increased studying time when I'm fine. This tip is related to the first step. It means that we should not study when we are not in good condition, because the condition of our body and mental strongly affects our productivity of studying. For example, we might need 10 hours to study 10 pages when we are really tired, but we might take just an hour to study the same 10 pages when we are fine. Do you see the difference when you are fine and when you are not fine? 10 pages, 10 hours. The same 10 pages, just an hour, because I'm fine now. Like this, productivity of studying strongly depends on your motivation. The important point here is studying requires concentration, while doing more simple tasks like doing dishes or cleaning a room doesn't require the brain to put much effort. Because we don't need to work the brain hard for simple tasks. So I separated my time into two groups. Time for studying, time for simple tasks. So I saved simple tasks until the time when I'm not fine. Just always studying so hard doesn't make sense. I thought I should focus on studying only when I'm in a good condition. Therefore, the second tip is that I decreased my studying time when I'm in a bad condition, while I increased the studying time when I'm fine. Finally, the third tip, I tried to maximize the productivity of relaxing time. In the previous step, it was about the studying time. However, this is about the relaxing time. Have you thought about the productivity of relaxing time? I thought some relaxing ways take short time, while others takes longer time. In my case, I like listening to music, so I could study for 1 hour after listening to my favorite song with my iPod for 5 minutes, for instance. In this case, 5 minutes makes motivation for 1 hour for studying. However, how about watching a movie? If I watched a movie for 2 hours, I would get the motivation for a couple of hours of studying. Because I like watching a movie, but I'm not so a big fan of a movie in comparison to listening to a music. 5 minutes music makes motivation for 1 hour, while 2 hours movie makes 2 hours for studying in this case. So for me, listening to music is 12 times as productive as watching a movie in terms of productivity of relaxing time. I'm not saying don't watch a movie, my friend. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you try to make time in your busy schedule, thinking about your productivity of relaxing time is valuable. And this is just an example of my case. It strongly depends on your preference. Some people like watching a movie, some people like eating a cake, some people enjoy talking. So please find your productive way to gain motivation in a short time based on your preference. When I studied so hard for passing the exam of CPA while working, I tried to take short time listening to music between studying time. This is the third tip, maximize the productivity of relaxing time. Therefore, these are the 3 points what I learned for keeping time and motivation for studying. Let me repeat the points. First, not my mood on a schedule. Second, decrease studying time and increase studying time. Third, maximize the productivity of relaxing time. As I told you, all of this is based on motivation management. I try to manage my motivation and time. This is my story. I studied so hard by managing my motivation and time. Finally, I successfully have changed my career from a musician to an accountant, and I'm sharing my experience with you guys. Thank you for watching my video today. I will be sharing my motivation for learning in this channel. I would really appreciate it if you could tap the bell mark below here to subscribe to my channel if you like my video. I don't want to be a teacher, but I want to learn something new with you guys, my friend. Let's try our best together. See you. Thank you.